Dear friends, in this video lecture, let us discuss on the national legislations for safeguarding children's rights. The first one will be the Act in 1994. This is an act for the regulation of the use of prenatal diagnostic techniques for the purpose of detecting genetic or metabolic disorders, chromosomal abnormalities, or certain congenital malformations or sex linked disorders, and for the prevention of misuse of such techniques for the purpose of prenatal sex determination leading to female foeticide and for matters connected with it. So that way this is an important act relevant to Indian society. Juvenile Justice Act 2000, Care and Protection of Children Act. The Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2000 is a comprehensive legislation that provides for proper care, protection, and treatment of children in conflict with the law. This act has laid a special emphasis on rehabilitation and social integration of children and has provided for institutional and non-institutional measures for the care and protection of children. The non-institutional alternatives include adoption, foster care, sponsorship, and aftercare. Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 has been passed by Parliament in India. According to this law, in the age group of 16 to 18 involved in heinous offences can be tried as adult. Then there is an act in the year 1986, Child Labour Act. This act was formulated to eliminate child labour and provides for punishments and penalties for employing children below the age of 14 years in various dangerous, hazardous occupations and processes. This act provides power to state governments to make rules with reference to the health and safety of children wherever their employment is permitted. This act provides for regulation of work conditions, including fixing hours of work, weekly holidays, notice to inspectors, provision for resolving disputes as to age, maintenance of registers, etc., through a recent notification. Child domestic workers up to 14 years of age working in hotels and dhabas have been brought within the purview of this act. It is one step towards the total elimination of child labor. Then there is an act in the year 2006, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. The Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929 has been repealed, and the major provisions of the new act include the following points. Every child marriage shall be voidable at the option of the contracting party who was a child at the time of the marriage. The court, while granting a degree of nullity, shall make an order directing the parties, parents, and the guardians to return the money, valuables, ornaments, and the gifts received from the child's family. The court may also make an interim or final order directing the male contracting party to the child marriage of parents or guardian to pay maintenance to the female contracting party to the marriage and for her residence until her remarriage. Child marriages to be void in certain circumstances, such as minor being sold for the purpose of marriage, minor after being married is sold, or trafficked or used for immoral purposes, etc. Enhancement in punishment for male adults marrying a child and persons performing, abetting, promoting, attending a child marriage with imprisonment up to 2 years and a fine up to 1 lakh rupees. States to appoint child marriage prohibition officers whose duties include prevention of solemnization of child marriages, collection of evidence for effective prosecution, creating awareness and sensitization of the community, etc. Then there is an act in the year 2005, Commission for the Protection of Rights Acts. The Act provides for the constitution of a national as well as state commissions for the protection of child rights in every state and union territory. The functions and powers of the national and state commissions will be these: to examine and review the legal safeguards provided by or under any law for the protection of child rights and recommend measures for their effective implementation, to prepare and present annual and periodic reports on the working of these safeguards, to inquire into violations of child rights and recommend initiation of proceedings where necessary, to undertake periodic review of policies, programs, and other activities related to child rights with reference to treaties and other international instruments, to spread awareness about child rights among various sections of society, to establish children's courts for speedy trial of offences against the children or of violation of child rights, to get state governments and union territory administrations to appoint a special public prosecutor for every children's court. Apart from these laws mainly concerning children, there is a host of related social legislation and criminal laws which have some beneficial provisions for the care, protection, and rehabilitation of children. Then there is an act in the year 2009, Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education, that is RTE Act, that is Right to Education Act. The Constitution 86 Amendment Act 2002 inserted Article 21A in the Constitution of India to provide free and compulsory education of all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years as a fundamental right in such a manner as the state may by law determine. The right to children to free and compulsory education, RTA Act 2009, means that every child has a right to full-time elementary education of satisfactory and equitable quality in a formal school, which satisfies certain essential norms and standards. Article 21A and the RT Act came into effect on 1st April 2010. The title of the RT Act incorporates the words free and compulsory. Free education means that no child, other than a child who has been admitted by his or her parents to a school which is not supported by the appropriate government, shall be liable to pay any kind of fee or expenses which may prevent him or her from pursuing and completing elementary education. Compulsory education casts an obligation on the appropriate government and local authorities to provide and ensure admission, attendance, and completion of elementary education by all children in the 6 to 14 age group. With this, India has moved forward to a rights based framework that makes it an obligation on the central and state governments to implement this fundamental child right as enshrined in the Article 21A of the Constitution in accordance with the provisions of the RTE Act. Then there is an act in 2012, POSCO Act, that is the Protection of Children Against the Sexual Offences Act. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, POXO 2012, has been drafted to strengthen the legal provisions for the protection of children from sexual abuse and exploitation. For the first time, a special law has been passed to address the issue of sexual offences against children. Abetment of or an attempt to commit these offences is also punishable under the Act. These offences are gender neutral between the perpetrator as well as the victim. Thank you very much, dear friends. Let us proceed with this topic in other video lectures. God bless you abundantly.